Creating a population pyramid has a lot of different stages to it with a lot of little details that you have to hit along the way. And so it can be a bit confusing. And I will admit, I'm not an expert at this, and I may make a couple mistakes as I demonstrate to you how to make it. And if I do make mistakes, or if you need me to fill in some blanks, feel free to ask me any questions. We're going to start off by collecting the data, and I have found that the best way to do this is just to go into the general search and type in age and sex. And once I've done age and sex, it will bring up a particular chart, S0101. Click on that, and it will bring up the age and sex for the entire United States. And then we're going to filter by geography. And you can do it for a place, you could do it by zip code or census tract. I'd like you to do it for something a little bit smaller than you would normally find somewhere else, so you can sort of see the utility of being able to create your own. So I'm going to click on place, and then I'm going to click on Alaska, and then I'm going to scroll down here a little bit, and I am going to make a population pyramid of Bethel. So I'll click on that. That should bring the data right up. You'll be using American Community Survey data, and I think it just defaults to the 2021, so it should be up to date. And you'll see now that here's the Bethel City, Alaska data with all the relevant age groups broken down for you. So it's pretty convenient. You're going to download this as an Excel, not as a zip as we did before. So download that as an Excel file, and then you'll be able to open it up. Once you open it up, you'll have to enable the editing for it. And then what you're going to find is that it's going to have sort of one sheet that has metadata on it that we don't really need. So we can just delete that or skip it. It doesn't really matter. It's the data tab that we want to click on that we're really interested in. It breaks everything down really nicely, but unfortunately not everything works perfectly the way we would want to, in part because the Excel that is generated puts a lot of these numbers as texts rather than as numbers, and some of the calculations aren't exactly what we want. So you're going to have to make some modifications here. The first thing you need to do is you need to delete all the information down below here, and then you need to delete all the columns that include the margin of error and other information. And you'll also want to delete the label right here, row. So I'm actually going to do a bunch of this deletion offline right now, so you don't have to go through the pain of watching me do it and make mistakes. And I will come back and show you sort of what I've created. And if you have questions or want me to fill in some blanks, I'm able to do that. Okay, I've done most of the deletions now, but there are a couple things I want to show you. So you'll see if I scroll down here just a little bit, it ends at the 85 years and older, and that's what I want. I've left the percentages here. We actually want to clear all this data out. So I'm just going to scroll down here for first this one, and I'm going to hit clear over here, and I can just clear all. And then I'm going to do this also for the percentage of female as well. And I'm going to clear that. And I notice now as I'm doing that I kept the estimate, the margin of error here, so I'm going to delete that as well. So now we are ready to go to make our data. And what we want to do to get the percentage of male calculated is click here under the cell that is percent male for 0 to 5. And then you are going to say equals, and then you are going to take the number of males, and you are going to divide that by the total number of Bethel, like that. And then while this is selected right here, I want you to hit F4. And do you see how it turned this into a $B, $3? That means you're going to be able to copy this for the entire column. So now I'm going to hit enter, and it comes up with that percentage number for me. And I can go down here to the right corner and just drag this down to 85 or older, and it will populate all of these. And I can do the same thing for the percentage of female as well. Remember, what you're going to do is say equals, and then the number of females who are under the age of 5 divided by the total population, and then with that highlighted, hit F4, and come up here again and hit enter, and we've got that created. And I'm going to scroll down here. Now, just to make things a little bit easier for you later, we're going to make a couple of other changes here as well. And the first thing I want you to do is I actually want you to do a little formula expansion for both of these. So let me click on this again, and I'm going to put parentheses around the male, and then I'm going to multiply this number by -100. Okay, and hit enter again, and it gives me this number of -4.22. And I'm going to take this all the way down here again. And I'm going to do the same thing for the percentage female, but instead of multiplying it by -100, I'm going to do it by +100. And again, just drag this down to the bottom so that all the age categories are there. And then while we're here, let's change the cell style, just so it's a little bit easier to, or the format rather, so it's easier to read. Go to Format Cells, and then go to Number, and change it from to like 1 decimal point, like this. And then we'll have these numbers here to 1 decimal point. Just be a lot easier to use. And we can do the same thing over here as well. We're just going to format the cell, and we're going to go to Number, and we're going to go to 1 decimal point. And now we have all the percentages as either a minus or a positive number. And now we can go ahead and make the graph. And to make the graph, we're going to select some columns, and we're going to just collect this column here, which has the ages, and hit Control and do the % male and the % female. So you have 3 columns highlighted. And then you are going to go to Insert and Recommended Chart. And it should come up with the clustered bar right here. We're going to say OK to that. Now, right away, you'll see things look a little bit goofy here. And there are a couple things that I actually did wrong. So I'm going to just delete this. You'll see it's easy to do it. So I left the Bethel City on, and I think I just want to get rid of that. So I'm just going to actually click on this whole thing and delete the chart and go back and get rid of that column 1. Okay, and now let me go back and click on those 2 columns again. It's pretty easy to go back and forth, but you may want to save it along the way. And again, I'm going to insert a recommended chart, and I'm going with a clustered 2-dimensional bar graph. And I click on that. Again, it's sort of wonky because everything's squished down below. And it seems to, because we have downloaded some data from the Census Bureau, maintain some sort of ghost columns of data. And so we want to get rid of that. And if you click on the whole chart, you'll be able to do the filtering as we've done before. So click on that chart filter, and you won't be able to see this completely, but you'll see that all the age groups are here. But if we scroll down lower, suddenly there are a bunch of rows of data right here that I'm not exactly sure where they came from. And maybe one of you can solve that mystery for me. I've tried to mess around with things a little bit and tried to clear rows, and it just never worked. And it ends up in the end, for me at least, being easier just to unclick each of these. And it does seem to work. In addition to unclicking each of those, you'll see at the very bottom, again, you can't see it on the screen, there's a thing that says Apply. Click Apply, and it's fixed this for me pretty well. So now we've got, still doesn't look quite like a population pyramid though, but we're getting there, yes. Let's click now on the bars themselves, and then right-click on what's called the data series, and you can click Format Data Series. And then when you're there, you can change the series overlap to 100% and the gap width to 0. And now we're starting to see a little bit more of a population pyramid. Let me close that so you can see that a little bit better. If we want, we can also click on this and we can do things like change the outline. And I'm going to change the outline to black. And then you'll see now these are sort of outlined, and that looks pretty good. So I'm going to do it on this side as well and make these a black outline and click on that. And we're looking good. Next problem is we've got all these ages right here. Not all of the ages are shown. There's also a chart title here that I don't think I want. So I'm just going to delete that. Oops, I deleted the whole thing, but I can go back and bring it back. Lucky for me. Now I'm going to click on the ages. That's the vertical axis category. And same thing, right click on it, and you can format the axis now. And when I format the axis, what I want to do here, as I recall, is I want to go and format intervals. So if we scroll down here a little bit further, if we go to labels, and then the labels come up and ask what interval we want to zoom in automatically. We want to specify the interval as 1. And you'll see they all appear now, so that's right. And now instead of having the label position next to the axis, we want to click on this and say low. And it puts us off to the side. And now we are getting a pretty good population pyramid. One more problem that we see here, though, is that we have negative numbers here and positive numbers here. So we're going to go try to fix that. We're going to click on that, and we're going to right-click on this axis now, and we're going to go down to format this axis. And when we format this axis, we can go down here, and when we go to number right here, we'll say what to do with negative numbers. And instead of it showing a minus sign, we can make it a color. And so we can click that, and you'll see right here it creates a format code for us, and it changes this to black. And what I found you can do, which is sort of cool, is we can click on that where it says red, and we can say black here. And then to make it matching on the other side, if we want to, you can put black over here as well, and we can say add that. And now our population pyramid is near complete. Now, as before, you are able to make a lot of other format changes. You can change the color of the background. I have the legend down here, female on one side, male on the other side, different colors. Probably could fix that by making the female the negative number and the male the positive number. So you might want to think about doing that. That might be a smart thing to do when you make this. But now, as before, we can just copy this whole thing. And so I can say copy it, and now I'll be able to paste it into Illustrator and make my infographic around it, and you've got a population pyramid that shows the level. So that's what you need to do to make this pyramid. Again, it's sort of complicated. There are a bunch of steps, but I'm happy to make another video to show you how to do it or talk it through in class as well. So let me know if you have questions.